Tomato is a nutrient-dense superfruit that offers a wide range of benefits to the body system, providing lots of cures to human diseases, and also the most popular fruit globally. The flexibility of these fruits makes it an important asset in the international market, as most of the developed and developing countries in the world, like China, India, and the United States of America, have taken the lead in its production. In Africa, Nigeria happens to be the largest producers of tomato, producing more than 1.8 metric tons of tomatoes annually.
The future of this country in terms of food sufficiency is nothing in doubt. We have all the natural endowment. We have the land, we have huge volumes of fresh water, we have the massive population of farmers willing to grow whatever crop. So if you look across the globe, most countries of the world that have advanced, it's only very few farmers that are feeding the whole country and even exporting. So in Nigeria, we have all the potentials and we have no business importing any food item in this country.
However, even with these estimates, the domestic demand of tomatoes in Nigeria is far much more than the available produce, with more than 2.3 million tons annually. As such, Nigeria succumbed to the importation of processed tomatoes in large quantity to meet up with domestic demands, thus skimming the nation's economy and putting the public's health to the risks of several diseases. Post-harvest losses suffered by farmers, which can be linked to lack of quality seedlings and lack of uptakers in the tomato production chain.
The lack of producing factories in our locality is the major cause of our losses. We are urging the federal government to help to establish the company within our proximity to serve as off-takers for our tomatoes.
What we are urging now is to get some people who can come and invest into tomato processing so that we can get off-takers. Through that, we can assist farmers by giving them loan.
No matter the effort we have put in, if the ban is not taking place, as you said, we have the capacity to supply even our neighboring countries, not only Nigeria. The only problem is the government, whether it has the will to ensure that happens. And like we have said at the conference, even rice is a much more serious issue compared to tomato. Tomato can grow in virtually everywhere in this country. There's no need for the country to continuously import tomato concentrate. And this tomato concentrate, there's nothing added to it. It's purely tomato. You extract the extra water, you concentrate the solid, and you pack it in a aseptic bag. Then you can reconstitute it to use at a later stage when you are out of the season. That's mainly the business.
It is this deficiency that led the federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, to give rise to the Anchor Borrowers Program in order to tackle the issues of the importation of the commodity, saving the nation's economy and at the same time providing an uptaker for the tomatoes after harvest. In doing so, the Central Bank of Nigeria partnered with Dangote Tomato Processing Company in order for the company to provide inarguably quality seedlings for the farmers and play a vital role in becoming an uptaker in the program.
This is a facility that has a capacity to produce 350 million seedlings per season. So you can see the huge capacity. And with that alone, if the farmers can get minimum of 40 tons per hectare, about 10,000 farmers will get nothing less than 6 to 8 million tons of tomato. So we have more in excess of demand of Nigeria. So which means Within the next 1 year, we should be thinking of exporting tomato, both fresh and processed.
Right? At one hectare farm for tomato yields only 10 tons. But the kind of seedlings that Sani Dangote has brought in from abroad is a seedling that will, with the various herbicides and everything, will now produce 70 tons per hectare, 8 times what it is producing. What this means is that the cost of production of the farmers will reduce. And with the support of government to ensure that we give the local farmers protection, they will be able to sell, they will make money. They will no longer be impoverished. They laugh us that we are the poverty capital of the world. Then we are going to do everything possible to make sure we improve the lives of our people, to ensure that we move away from where they categorize us. That is our mandate.
To make this a successful mission, Dangote Tomato Processing Company mounted a high-tech multi-billion greenhouse with the sole aim of producing over 350 million quality seedlings so as to meet up with the quantity needed for distribution.
What we have done, we've been able now to put up a greenhouse, and we are just about completing one of the biggest seedling house, which is known any other one in the country. We're putting up 25,000 square meters of seedling house. We'll be able to produce 1 million seed a day. That 1 million seed a day will be an improved seedling that will give farmers from about 10 tons they used to usually get per hectare to almost 45 to 50 tons per hectare.
Okay, one person only.
The company set up a team to oversee the activities that will lead to the lasting success of this program, one of which is the farmers coordinator and the extension workers.
Support to the farmers through the extension services that we're providing, and I'm also in charge of coordinating an outdoor program for the company. What I mean by an outdoor program is that we try to get a group of farmers that we work with, and we try to get them inputs. We supply them with input, or we connect and we link them with inputs and the seeds, such as seeds, chemical and what have you, so that they can produce the type of crops that we need as a company. In this case, if it is tomato, we are going to produce the kind of tomato, industrial tomato for our company, and we are going to take the tomato produced for processing in the company, growing tomato, and whose locations too can actually be able to grow tomato, because it's not every area that can sustain the production of tomato. So we decided to look at areas that can grow tomato and work with them. Then secondly, on the selection of the farmers, that's entirely the business of the association.
You initiate a collective solution, something that they can do on their own when you are not there. So as regards the program of the Tomato Anchor Borrower Scheme, what we do is we relate basic education on how they should do their things that makes them have improved yield at the end of harvest. Like for instance, if you see this field this is about it's an hectare field, but the farmers sometimes they don't give adequate spacing within their produce. You find out that seedlings are supposed to be spread across an hectare, is spread within like 3/3 of the field. So we try to tell them that, okay, when you limit the spacing of the seedlings, you limit the space for which the seedling is supposed to grow and expand itself, so that it can spread, especially for the kind of variety of seedling that's been given to them, is a spreading type that's covers a lot of space as it grows. So when they get too close, it actually limits the ability of that plant to spread and exist like it's supposed to.
The farmers directly, I visit their fields, we give them advice, we train them, and then we introduce them to good agronomical practices on their farm, new technologies, because some of them, they like sticking to their old agronomical practices, but we always try to instill it in them to adopt these new agronomical practices.
Each and every local government will have there is chairman of their associations. So company undertook different series of meetings with those chairmen already. So they already trained them. So we train the chairman. We tell them all that this tomato is required for it to do well and succeed. So they already have the knowledge, but we cannot just leave them with the farmers. That is why we intervene as an extension agents to continue be advising and teaching them, so working together with them.
As you know that the farmers, there are many. The person, when he came to the community, you have to meet the lead farmer. So when we meet them, we try to enlighten him about the use of improved seed variety. So we told him about the importance of the used variety, how highly resistant is to disease. The disease, as you know, that most of the farmers before they are facing the problem or one disease that they call tuta absoluta. They used to call it Ebola. So we told the lead farmers that this variety that we are going to give them is more resistant to that Ebola. So that's what we do. We try to compensate him to let the farmer use the improved seed variety.
However, in every success story, there are always challenges at the crossroad. In the case of Dangote Tomato Processing Company, getting the farmers to embrace the new variety provided by the company is a challenge among others.
Well, the challenges we are facing is this one is new. Every now and then we have to get information and knowledge about how to manage it. Unlike the one we have been using before, we have inherited it from our parent. That one we don't have problem. But this one is always like it's like they are updating everything. Every now and then they will keep updating it. So we need to be contacting like the specialists or the people that brought it, that introduced it to us. That's the only challenges. But apart from that, we don't have problem with this variety.
I'm
part of those that did not get the opportunity to get into the programs. But I hope and pray to be among the lucky ones next time. My son is among the beneficiaries, and I have seen how great the new variety is. So I can wait for months in order to get it.
The major challenge we're having now is with the problem of side selling. Even though some of the farmers are actually living up to the agreement and the promises they have made to supply the company, most of them have actually decided to sell out this product to the farm, to the open market, to the fresh market.
The main reason is lack of water that is making the leaves to get dry, because they are giving it, they are irrigating just as they were irrigating the normal varieties.
And we've done quite a lot of sensitization. We've tried to make them understand that this is an opportunity, not only for Dangote, for them as farmers to prove themselves. If there's a contract, I think we should all respect it. The farmers have the tendency to enjoy or benefit better if they respond positively to the contractual agreement that they have signed with the company and with the CBN.
At the long run, After going through the struggles of convincing farmers to accept the seedlings, this program victoriously transformed their lives economically and socially by tripling their yields.
131 crates in one harvest. This is yesterday's harvest.
With this new variety, we can see the difference. This new variety is early maturing, and it is drought resistant. As you can see now, we can take about 2 to 4 days interval between one watering and another. And one interesting thing about this one is that if you are taking this variety to the long distance, it will not spoil, because this variety, the water content is very low as compared with the one we have been using before. This variety and the cut is very hard. If you can, when it ripe, when it fully ripe, if you take it, it can stay for about 15 days without spoiling. So this is one interesting thing about it, and they increased tremendously. And as you can see now, I am hoping to get much more than what I have been getting before, because of this new technology and this new variety. My income is really going high.
Thank you very much.
The variety that what have brought to us was good. As for the growth of the seed, you cannot compare. The time spent for him to grow, it was just 2 months to 3 months. You understand? Unlike our local seedling, it spend a lot of months, 3 to 4, maybe, I don't know. But this, and it has a lot of seeds on it. A lot of seeds, a lot of.
That's the difference. Even from the products, if you can even see it, you can even see the difference. The size of the tomato is bigger. There's a big difference between the old one we are using and the present one. This team, we are expecting a very good, positive result from the impact from what we are doing now. Next year I will do more than that, more than this. But I need because I have enough experience now. Next year I will do better than what I am doing now, because I have learned a lot through these people, through the Dangote people and our elders, our leaders.
There
is big difference between this variety and our local variety, because from the time we received it, it lasted for days without being planted. Assuming it is the local variety, it will have perished.
Ka in baka yi maza ka dasa ba ko kuma da laima a gindinsa ba, tsawon minti 30 ya yi yaushi, ba mamaki man ka dasa shi ya samu kwanaki bai tashi ya miƙe ba. Bambancin a fili yake.
Just look at the fruit of the seed, it is so big and different from the local one.
Amma yanzu gashi hannuna guda uku ne, amma ya cika hannuna, ne ma nake na kasa rike shi. Wanda muka fara dan cicira shi ne mun ɗabi kwando 20.
Kaso 3 domin wannan zai ɗara wancan yaya da kamar kimanin kaso 2, saboda wancan ma da yake dan kwatanta ayan ma royal to shi kuma an ribe shi. Ni dai a rayuwa ta dai da idanuna dai ban taɓa ganin tumatirin da zaka dasa shi yayi yaya kan wannan.
Lahi bambanci da yawa. Na farko akwai manyan yaya. Abu na biyu kuma yayan wannan sun dinka wancan wajen sau 2 ko sau 3. A inda muke gani kuma wannan baya tsayawa da haihuwa, wancan kuma da zaran ya riga ya haihu zai tsaya. Hakika da bambanci kwarai ko.
Bambanci har ga Allah, saboda ko bambancin 'ya'yan za ka ga wannan ya fi wancan tsoka, ya fi wancan kuma ko a miya ma ya fi bambanci.
Bambancin na farko, na dasa tumatir a bara wanda na samu sati 2 da dasa shi, amma kuma ƙarshe da kamar ma in tuge shi ne saboda ya ƙi min inda nake so. Amma da na gane wannan bambancin da na bambanta shi da wancan a cikin sati 2, sai na ga kuma wancan ko da ya sati 6 ne ma ba zai kama shi ba a sati 2 shi wannan tumatir. Irin tumatirin ku da bambanci saboda kun ba mu iri da takinsa a jijiyarsa. Dole ne tumatirin nan ibu kuma da bambancin yanayin kula ta wajen kula da magungunan da aka bashi kafin a bamu irin.
Ai bambancin ma ba kaɗan ba, ai kamar naira 10 ce da naira 100, bambancin ya wuce kaɗan. Domin kalli ma furen, kalli furen, kalli ɗa, mafi yawancin furen da yake yi kowanne sai ya kishi, kowanne ɗa ne, ki duba ƙarƙashin tumatir da yaya ne, kuma duka kwanakin da aka rasa tumatir nan ba shi da yawa. Saboda bambancin ai ba ma zai musulunta ba. Akwai
to duk wanda ya shiga wannan tsarin ya samu abin yi, duk wanda izo ya shiga wannan tsarin ya samu abin yi. Noma ne baka da sana'a, ka zo an ɗauko hannunka an ɗora kan noman da zaka ga misali ka ci da kanka, ka ci da iyalinka, ka samu sana'ar da zaka yi.
The farmers express utmost gratitude as they applaud the efforts of the federal government and Dangote Tomato Processing Company for involving them in the program.
Taimakon da yake mana na mu dogara da kanmu mu ci gaba, to mun gode Allah saka da alheri. Mun gode wa wannan kamfani da fatan alheri da abin da suka yi mana, fatanmu Ubangiji Allah ya ƙara ɗaukaka wannan kamfani, kuma mu da suka ba mu amana Allah ya sa mu rike amanar.
The National Secretary of the Tomato Farmers Association commends the efforts of all the stakeholders involved in making the program successful.
The means of financing now is no more a problem in terms of agriculture, because due to this intervention that CBN used to give under the Ankoboro program, now the finance is not a problem. The only thing is that maybe the farmers are not willing, or commodity may not be willing to pay back the loans. So as far as you are not willing to pay back the loan, no matter how, even if we are getting the money down, we are just picking it and giving it, the government will stop it. And once this opportunity has gone, I don't think if we can be able to get another opportunity like this. The seedling that Dangote give, yes, I recommend it, is of high good quality. It's high yielding varieties. So you see, under this project, we are using hybrid varieties.
The company, on the other angle, as an uptaker, has been receiving loads of harvested tomatoes from the farmers, and this, of course, is a sign for a grand production of tomato paste for the company this season.
This one tomato from the farm. They will bring it here. We have our quality assessment people outside. So when they assess that tomato and they certify it okay for production, they will come in. We have our weighing bridge there. So it will go for first weighing together, the vehicle together with the crates and the tomato. That's the first weighing. So when it pass through that stage, it will come here where we upload it. So upload it and keep it inside the crate, because so that it will last longer.
Truck arrives, we go on top of it to see how good the tomatoes are. So we check from everywhere from the vehicle. We can start sampling at the basic end, the first end, or we start sampling at the last end. So wherever we choose to start from, because it's random sampling, you pick from everywhere. After that, we calculate the number of crates first, it down to the weighing scale. We weigh it, and from there it goes on.
The tomatoes for any place, no buyer. But this year, you cannot see like this. We are thanking federal government and the Dangote company. We are very, very, very thanking you.
Dangote has taken our tomato before we go to anywhere. So thank you, Dangote and the federal government has worked very, very well for collecting the tomatoes from the farmers, because the farmers they are bringing their tomatoes without any problems with their farmers.
My tomato, and in less than 20 minutes, my tomato has been received without delay. Even the drivers are happy because there is no waste of time. As harvest losses is reduced, we appreciate the work of this program and everyone who contributed.
we discharge it in the receiving end, which we call the flume. The flume man will take it and process it through the sorting table, where we have personnel who ensures that no bad product or damaged fruits goes into the crushing hopper. So these fruits now will be taken to the hot brick, where it will be crushed and refined into the juice tank. From the juice tank, it will go through other production processes like evaporating, to ensure that we get the bricks required within the specs which we have been set, which the company has been set. So this product will now be sent to the sterilizer, where the product will be sterilized, ensure that no bacteria is found therein. From there, it will be sent to the filler for packaging. Just to ensure that we have the right bricks, that is why he takes the sample of the tomato and take it to lab. For every 10-15 minutes, the quality control ensure that whatever that is coming out of the evaporator is analyzed. The ladies you saw at the sorting table ensures that no unripe tomato fruits and damaged fruits goes into the system. Any mud in the water is strategically extracted by this machine.
Because once you grow the tomato, if you cannot preserve it or process it, it becomes a total waste. As you said also, Nigeria also loses 45% of that production for lack of processing facility. That's why I came up with this factory that will be able to process 1,200 tons a day, which will help the farmers to be able to reduce that losses, and also help Nigeria to be able to substitute importation of tomato concentrate. What this does is Nigeria is still importing tomato concentrate, which is the processed fresh tomato into a concentrated form without any chemical or so on. Now it means with this factory, Nigeria doesn't need to import any more tomato concentrate.
Development will put an end to post-harvest losses while increasing the rate of harvest, job opportunities, a boost in the nation's economy, and it will serve as a way paver for the exportation of tomato.